Hi guys, welcome back to another story making session. It's very late at night, so I'm tired, but we will make a tired story thus. Alright, so the is about story is about a bed. Okay, so it's like a regular bed. That's the head of the bed, which everybody has their own preference for direction of. Some people like to face the moon, some people like to face themselves, some people like to face the head of the bed, some people like to face their nightmares. I'm certainly not in the last category. The other day I had a nightmare about um just like falling off a cliff. That's a recurring nightmare in my life. Anyway, this story is about a bed. This is the bed. It's not a very strong bed because the frame is not solid, right? There are planks here. And then one day this bed was endowed with a mattress in this very pretty color. Okay. But again, this mattress is not very, it's not very rigid or solid or, strong in a way that if like a 5-year-old jumps in it, it's the 5-year-old's gonna bounce back. That's not gonna happen. The mattress will get a hole and the 5-year-old would just fall, like here. That's the 5-year-old, but you're gonna save him. All right. So why is there a story about a bed? What do beds do that makes them deserving of a story, right? That's because the bed has an origin story. And the origin story is that it used to be a tree. Not a tree, it used to be this wood of the tree. But this tree was actually cursed by woodpeckers. This is a woodpecker. Woodpeckers have long beaks. Fun fact, woodpeckers have tongues which are like this. They're like rolled up. That's so that when they like pick on the peck on the trunk very vigorously, they don't like get a concussion, right? So like their tongue basically wraps around their skull area in order for them not to get a choke on their head. I read about this in this book called it's the biography, not the autobiography of Leonardo da Vinci by Walter Isaacson, which was pretty interesting and has always stayed with me. Anyway, let's get back to the course tree. So the tree was cursed by woodpeckers because one time when a woodpecker was pecking on this tree, the woodpecker did get a concussion. Right. And then the woodpecker was like, I took all my safety precautions. I literally yo yoed my tongue inside my brain and still I got a concussion. That's not okay. That's totally not my fault. All safety measures were taken. Everything was done with the highest safety standards set by the Safety Association of Woodpeckers. They have bi-weekly meetings on most trees. If you ever find yourself in a park or a forest or a dream near a tree at 3:15 a.m., you will find a Woodpeckers Safety Association having a meeting. But anyway, after this woodpecker got a concussion, and there was like this entire jurisdiction that was held by the SAW. They saw to it that justice be served, and thus this tree was cursed. Regardless, a cursed tree cannot be deemed useless to humanity, right? Like, humans don't care if some natural resource is haunted by spirits or some bird safety association declared certain laws. Humans just care about themselves. So humans came as a do and chopped this tree out with an axe and made this bed. There was a lot of work that went to it. Certainly highly skilled craftsmen were be, put to work because the entire process, even just spotting the tree, sharpening the axe, polishing stuff, finding a place to sit so that you don't get burned by sunlight, finding free lunch, important things that one has to do just became harder to do in the process of cutting this tree compared to, acquiring lumber from other trees, which is easy once you're like doing it at a large scale because A, you have leverage, B, you have experience, C, you have audacity, but everything just got fudged up near this tree, and then the end result was that the bed was not that good. But the bed is a hero because this is an origin story. And in origin stories, there necessarily has to be a hero. Like, if this is a story with a hero, then this is an origin story. Which means if this is an origin story, then the bed is a hero. Right. So we're gonna have to make it a hero, and the simplest way to do it is that it took part in the civilian war of 1556. And so there's two ways civilian war hero stories can go. Either the hero sacrificed or hero won. I mean, both can also exist. The hero sacrificing to make the good guys win, and the hero winning to get sacrificed, which would be good if the hero just didn't want to live. So being sacrificed is actually a personal win for the hero. But in our story, the hero is just winning by bringing glory to its land. And the way it brought glory was it just always placed itself, right? Like magically, it would just appear out of nowhere in the hotels. So this is a hotel where the commander of the enemy's army used to sleep, right? And then the bed just refused to be comfortable. So this is the bed. It's just refused to be comfortable for even 1 second. As a result of that, the commander of the enemy army was perpetually sleep deprived. And what happens to people who are sleep deprived? Inefficiency, depression, things don't seem worth doing, refusal, denial, hunger. So, out of this list, let's just take this commander to a separate space so that we can talk about him individually because he is an individual, right? So, the commander was sleep deprived, and I just told you the list of things that might happen to somebody who's sleep deprived, but what happened to this commander was hunger. It's just, if you're not sleeping, what will you do for 8 hours? Humans get hungry, right? And then once you're hungry, there's only so much you can eat in a foreign land before you want to go home and eat your staple stuff that your parents used to cook for you. And as a result of this increased hunger, our commander retreated back to his land. The consequence of that, as we can guess from now, from the rest of the story that we know, is that our dad became a hero. So, what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is original story start off sad, and then they end with the thing that was born out of sadness being a hero. There's, yeah, that's all we have for today. I hope that inspired you to convert your sad past into inklings about how you might be a hero, because it's mathematically impossible not to be a hero if you have a sad past, because then what your life is an origin story. And if you are living in an origin story, then you are a hero. And I hope you always remember that and come back tomorrow to listen to another inspiring story.